In this video, I'm going to show you some good practices for debugging your programs. This you can think of as paired with one of the projects. It's in the folder for Computer Science 2, it's in 1250_debugging. For Computer Science 3, it's in 0200_debugging. You can also find it shortly after your review in the spreadsheets that give the point values. And this is going to be a good general review of programming in Python and how to fix your programs when you've got some errors. All right, so what this program is supposed to do is it's supposed to print all the factors of some number that we're going to give to it. If I give it 60, it should print out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, 60. Oh, 30. How about 30? That's a factor of 60 as well. So unfortunately, the program has bugs in it, and not just the one of me forgetting that 30 divides 60 evenly. So all the comments are correct, so we can rely on those, but not all of the code does what the comments say. So the very first thing you should do, and you should be in the habit of doing this frequently, is run your program. I can click this, but I want you guys to use shortcuts, so just a reminder, tap Alt, RR, and let's see. Okay, this name error, that's actually from a previous run of a different program. That doesn't apply to my code. My code is running just fine right here. I'm going to enter a number. I'll just put in 6 and hit enter. All right, so we get an error right away. It's a name error. I'm actually going to go to the interpreter just because it has a larger font so you can see it more easily. All right, so name error, print factors is not defined. If I make this window a little bit bigger, it tells me it's on line 28, and it highlights that in red right here. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I always want to read what the name of the error is. This one is name error. Now, if you go to your class folder, why isn't that opening? If you go to your class folder, I should have shared with you, you have a link to this, error examples. This came, I believe, in the first email I sent you. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to look through here for a name error. So here's a syntax error, and then here's name error right here. Okay, and I'm going to read what it says. It says, check for misspelled function names, misspelled variable names, or usage of variables that haven't been defined yet. And it gives some examples of those. All right, so when you get stuck, but it tells you, Python tells you that you have a particular error, I want you to go to this document and see if this can give you some hints for how to solve it. So if I go back to my code, now I've said here, so check for misspelled function names, variable names, or variables you haven't defined yet. Well, my problem here is either print factors or num. Now, num seems to be okay because I have that variable right there. So that seems reasonable. So let's look at print factors. Now, if you double click on any name, any word, it will highlight all the other occurrences of that in the document. So I'm going to double click on print factors and I'm going to scroll up and see what I see. I don't see anything else highlighted. Okay, so I think I've made a typo here. This print factors looks okay, but I go up here and I see print factorous. Okay, so I forgot the O. So I'm going to put that in and see if that fixes things. So I'm just going to run it again. Alt RR. And I'll enter a number. I'm just going to stick with 6 for now. All right, I get a different error though. This is good news. That means I've solved the previous error, I hope. So I'm going to look at the Python interpreter, see what it says. It says that I have a problem on line 28, and then it also says line 20. This can be a little bit confusing sometimes. Why does it say 2 different lines? The reason is line 28, if we scroll down, is this line right here. It's where the function gets called. I don't know if you can read the 28 in the video, but the function gets called here, and this function is having a problem, but where inside that function is the problem? Well, that's where the line 20 comes in. So I can see line 20 right here. Seems to be some kind of problem right here. All right, so I know where it's located. Now I'm going to look at the error. It's a type error, and it says string object cannot be interpreted as an integer. Now, I actually understand what this means without going to the document. It means that I have used a string variable, some sort of text variable, but I've treated it like a number. I've treated it like I've added to it or subtracted from it or divided it or something like that. So I look at this line of code right here, and I want to see, okay, well, what variables are involved? Well, there's I, and there's X. Now, I seems like it's probably okay because I'm actually creating I right here. But I'm using X. I'm saying create a range from 1 to X. Now, if X is not a number, that's going to be a problem. And it's telling me that x is not a number. Now I'm going to look around this piece of code. Particularly, I'm going to look before it. What comes before this? Well, right here, I'm actually printing out x. The factors of x are. So let's scroll up in this window down here and see what got printed. The factors of 6 are. This looks totally fine. I typed in 6. It's printing out 6. So the issue is that this is not a string. So there's a variety of ways I could fix this. I think the easiest way, or one of the easiest ways, is right where I'm at in the code right here, is to call the int function, the integer function, and say, okay, I'm going to turn x into an integer. I believe this will fix my problem. Before I run it, I just want to comment that down here, the issue really comes on this line of code. When I ask for a number, no matter what I ask for in terms of this text right here, input always gives me a string. So that's something we have to remember. So num is actually not an integer at this point. You could fix it right here in the code like I did. You could fix it by putting int around this line of code. There's so many different ways you can fix this. I'm not going to worry about that for now. I'm going to go back up here and run it. Okay, this is a different error. It's in a different line of code, right? We're on line 22 here instead of line 20. And this is the process that I want to use for fixing errors. I just want to go one step at a time, fix one bug at a time, and then rerun my program. Okay, so it's telling me that the error is on line 22, which is also showing me right here. And it says type error, so another type error, unsupported operand types for percentage, int, and string. Okay, so what this means, actually, let's assume that you don't know what this means. And let's go look in that document again and see if we can understand this particular type error. All right, so type error right here. It asks me, are your strings really strings? Are your integers and floats really integers and floats? This is a common error with input. Okay, we just saw that. You often want to use the string, int, or float function to convert from one type to another type. And then it gives some examples. Well, unfortunately, we already knew that, so that doesn't necessarily help us here. One thing, though, is that I always want you to read these messages because you will start to get a feel for what they mean. Now, I'm going to tell you this particular message means that for the percent sign, it doesn't support int and string. And particularly what's wrong with it is the string part. Right? It wants integers. It knows how to deal with integers. If you don't remember, the percent sign is the modulus. What it does is it performs a division, and then it gives you back the result of that, the remainder of that division, rather. All right, and I actually see the problem right away now, is because I is an integer, right? And it's telling me that. The first thing that the percent is dealing with is what's on the left, is the I. And the second thing is a string. So, oops, this fix that I tried to make right here to change x into an integer, all it does is create a temporary variable that's an integer. It doesn't change the value of x itself. So this was like a band-aid that fixed one problem but didn't really get to the issue itself. Okay, so I'm actually going to delete this just for tidiness sake, and I'm going to put it elsewhere. I mentioned right before that a much better place to put it would be right here, so that the input that we're asking for, that we know is a number, is now going to be an integer. And this, I think, will fix our problem. Don't worry too much about this little red underline. Sometimes it thinks there's an error, but the only way to really be sure is to run it. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so enter number 6. The factors of 6 are blank. All right, so this is a little bit harder. It didn't give us any error. The program ran, but it didn't do what we wanted it to do. So now we're going to have to really dig in and see why didn't it do what we thought it would do. So a good way to check this is to put in some print statements and print the values that you expect to see, or print them and see if they are the values you expect to see. So let's start reading our code here. Now we've actually got a couple print statements already in the code, so that can be very helpful. So the factors of 6 are, that's being printed. but there's no I being printed. There's no numbers being printed down here. So this code is not being reached. So it seems to me that it's likely that the problem is with either the if statement or the for loop. So the first thing I want to see is this loop running at all? So let me put a print here. I can print anything I want. I just want to see, are we even looping? Like maybe x is not the right value, although we suspect that it is because it's getting printed. It says it's 6 right here. So I just want to know, is my loop running? Is my loop occurring at all? So I will run my program, Alt-RR. Okay, we got a lot of things being printed here. Hello, hello, hello. So my loop is definitely running. So the problem doesn't look like it's with the for, it looks like it's probably with the if. All right, so let's print out the result of I mod x. I'm just gonna copy that and then paste it into the print statement. Now, the other thing that I'm gonna do is, so I know what it is that I'm printing, actually I don't need a new line of code for this, is I'm going to also print out I, and I'm also going to print out x. In case you didn't know, if you want to print multiple things, you can actually put them inside the print statement, just separated by commas. That's actually what I'm doing up here as well. You can see the x is right there. This is a really handy thing to be able to do. It makes things a little bit easier to read. All right, so I'm going to print these all out. I actually want a space between my print statements as well, so I'm just going to throw in another print. You'll notice when I create a new line that my indentation is wonky. I really apologize for that. That's because I grabbed this code off the internet and I didn't check the indentation before I used it. So that's just my mistake. It still works as long as I'm consistent. So even though there's 1, 2, 3 spaces here and we typically use 4, it's still working because there's 3 spaces for all of these lines, just so you know. Okay, so I'm running this. Let's see what we get. Okay, so I'm making this window bigger at the bottom here. Let's see what we see. All right, so I printed out when I was 1, 6, or x was 6, and then I mod x was 1. Now, what I want to do here is I want to be checking if x is divisible by I. Okay, so x is 6, I is 1. Everything's divisible by 1, so what we should get is the result is 0. We should get the remainder of 6 divided by 1 is 0, but it's saying it's 1 instead. This is a little bit confusing. So let's see. What happened here actually is, I suspect I've reversed the order of these. I want to see if x is divisible by I, but I wrote I modulus or percentage sign x. It looks like I've reversed things. And you can see how the comment says x is divisible by I, but then it goes I mod x. So I'm going to try and reverse these and see if that fixes anything. Now, so my program doesn't get too cluttered. For starters, just for testing, I'm going to comment these out and see what my result is. So I run my program, Alt-RR. Aha! Oh wait, this looks like I've done it. So enter a number 6. The factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, I haven't totally done it yet, but I've made some progress. So since I commented out my print statements, that's not what's printing right now. Make this a little bit bigger. It seems like this line of code is actually printing. If I want to check and make sure, one way to do it is I could just, wait, sorry, I typed something wrong. One way to do it is I could put a comma in there and type something else just to see if hello is showing up with those other numbers. So let's run it and see. All right, so hello's showing up. So this is in fact this print statement that I'm seeing down there. That's a really good sign. I'm going to clean things up, get rid of that hello, get rid of these 2 lines of code. All right, so what's missing? Well, factors of 6. They're not only 1, 2, and 3, but they should also be 6. 6 is divisible by 6. And the instructions for my code up here says that I should include, the number that I'm dividing. So 60. 60 is one of the factors of 60. Okay. So why in the world is it not including the 6 itself? Now, I think I could have detected this error earlier when I was printing out, when I was printing inside the for loop here. So I'm going to put another print statement in here, and I'm going to print out I, because I have a suspicion that I'm not actually going and checking if 6 is divided by 6. So I'm going to print I, and I'm saying, so this is all the values that I'm checking are divisible by. So let's mark those. So check divis, just to distinguish them from this print I down here. Otherwise it's confusing. I don't know which one I'm actually looking at. So I run it. Aha, okay, so I'm checking if 1 divides 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm not checking 6. So my for loop just doesn't go far enough. It doesn't go all the way up to 6. It only goes up to 5. Well, there's a really easy fix for that. I'm going to put x plus 1 right here. All right, so I had an off by 1 error. Remember that for loops, if I say for I in range 1, 10, it goes up to 9. It doesn't go up to 10. So I want to put my plus 1 here, and I suspect this will fix things. I'm going to get rid of my print just to make sure my output is clean and tidy. Make this window a little bigger. Alt-RR. 6. Factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3, 6. This looks like it's working correctly. Now, I can't be too confident yet. This is a very tiny, tiny example with 6 right here. I'm going to do a bigger number. I'm going to put in 60. Right? I've already got this up here. I know what it should print out. You know, the mistake with 30 notwithstanding. So let's run it again. Let's put in 60. All right, looks pretty good. What do we got? Factors of 60 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, 20, 30, and 60. It looks like this program is working. I could create some other tests if I wanted to, but I'm satisfied with what I've got right here. So, takeaways from this video. One is run your program frequently. The second one is when you're given an error, that is a good thing. Right? We scroll back up. When you're given that red text, that is Python trying to help you find where you made a mistake and give you a hint as to what that mistake might be. We've got this document right here that'll give you some examples of these different errors and some tips on what the issue might be. And then third, if you end up with your program doing something that's not what you want, but there's no red text, there's no explicit error, you're going to need to dig in. You're going to need to read your code. You should put print statements in and ask yourself, okay, what do I expect this to print? And then does it actually print that? And you should keep your code tidy. Notice when I was done with a print statement, when I fixed an error, I deleted that back out or I commented it so that I didn't get my output down here too cluttered.